Good morning, Oregon. It is Tuesday. Tuesday is Primary Source Day, the one day out of each week where instead of reading you a column like I do every other day, instead I read you some especially interesting piece of Oregon's written history, what the pros call a primary source. It might be an old newspaper article, it might be a short story from the precursor to Sunset Magazine, it might be some world-famous mediocre poetry from Oregon's very own world-famous mediocre poet, of whom we are so proud. Whatever it is, it will be an interesting tidbit that could not, for some reason, be used as the basis for a full-on Offbeat Oregon column. Too short, too anonymous, wrong format, something like that. So, here's what I've got for you today. It Might Have Been by David Burr Chase, published in the December 1898 issue of Pacific Monthly magazine. This story is presented as a dialogue between a character referred to as he and a character referred to as she. I will be omitting the pronouns when I render the story. Scene: a ballroom, conservatory, and garden. A man and woman cease waltzing as the last strains of the music are dying in the air.
What? Has the music ceased already? Why do they stop so soon?
Because the waltzers had nearly all deserted the floor, I fancy.
How could they tire so quickly? Are you engaged for the next?
Yes, my card is full, see?
Can you not desert? Let us go to the conservatory. I want to talk to you.
I could hardly do that, you know. But here comes Charlie. Perhaps he will excuse me.
Oh, isn't this refreshing? Your cousin Charlie is a gentleman, and you are—
What?
You are a good little girl. Let us take this seat in the window. How long has it been since we were alone together?
It has been years and years, so long that I can hardly remember.
You can hardly remember, and yet we used to be such good friends.
Yes, I do remember. Do not think that I forget my old friends so easily. But it is not your fault that I have not forgotten you.
Do you think that is because I have not wished you to remember me?
What else should I think? You could surely have come to see me sometimes when you passed so near.
Do not be so sure of your conclusions. I have been on the point of writing you scores of times.
Why did you never write?
Would you have cared to hear from me?
Surely I would. I have often wished that I might know how you were succeeding in your life's work.
There has been nothing worth telling about my life's work. That would not have been my goal, but rather how much I missed you and how I longed to see you.
Tell me why you did not write.
Can you not guess? Because I summoned my self-control to be the conqueror of my impulses. Why should I have cultivated a feeling that could only have caused me misery?
You speak in riddles. Do you return to the West very soon?
Within 3 days. That is why I was so insistent on your coming in here. This is the last time we shall be together for years, probably. Forever, maybe. It is inexpressibly pleasant to be with you once more just by ourselves. It seems almost like old times, does it not?
Yes, a little. But we are older now, and wiser.
Are you wiser? I am not. But tell me, you will not be angry if I ask you a question?
If this is our last hour together, it would not be nice to waste it in being angry, would it?
Then tell me, are you going to marry the millionaire?
What millionaire? Yes, I will tell you. I am going to marry him. Why not?
Why not, indeed? He is in every way fitted to make you happy. I will not ask if you love him. That goes without saying.
To be sure I do. I love him dearly. You do not know how good he is. I know you would like him.
Yes, for your sake, if for nothing else. I thank you for your confidence. You know that you have the very best wishes of my heart, that your life may be one unclouded dream of joy. And now I will tell you something. In the far west there is a dear little girl waiting for me, and she will be my wife at Christmas.
Oh, I'm so glad. Tell me all about her.
That would take too long. She is entirely too good for me, and I have her whole heart, and she has mine, of course. She is young and beautiful and bright and good. I hope that you may meet her sometime.
So do I. You know that I will pray for your happiness, but it does seem odd to—
Does it? Why?
Oh, it has never really seemed to me that you could ever really fall in love.
With anyone but myself, you mean? Then you have always been doing me a very great injustice. You could have learned long ago that I could really fall in love, if you had cared to know.
But what makes you so sure that I should not have cared to know?
I am not sure of that, but I am sure, and always was sure of one thing, that I did not propose to give my whole heart unless I received one in return. An entirely hopeless passion was not exactly in my line.
But did it never occur to you that others might feel the same? Did you expect a girl to allow her heart to go out to you when she knew that you cared no more for her than for others? Were you not a little unreasonable in your requirements?
Very likely. I was always a selfish creature. But I wanted a spontaneous love, not the cool and calculating affectation that waits on the judgment.
But was not that just the kind of affection which you proposed to give in exchange?
Be careful. I always lose my temper when cornered. I had no thought of giving less than I received. Perhaps I was wrong, but, self-preservation is the first law of nature. If I had felt sure of my ability to win the love of any girl, then I would be safe in giving my whole heart without a pledge. Then
what?
Then I had loved thee more than ever wife was loved.
Had I less unworthy proved, you mean?
You know I do not mean that. If I had been at all sure of a return, but why follow up on the ifs now? You never cared for me.
Ah, but you used to tell me that I did care for you.
Yes, I know. I was obliged to. You would not tell me so yourself, you remember. You would not confess that you liked me better than others. What did I tell you?
You used to tell me that I liked you, but that I did not love you.
Well, I told you the truth, did I not?
You thought so.
But you do not mean to tell me that you cared for me more than just that?
No, I do not. But you need not have been so very fearful, lest you should like me too well. Caution is not always fascinating.
Don't. You make me feel as though I had been a calculating coward. You never would have loved me. Do not let me feel that you might.
I do not wish you to feel so. Do not misunderstand me. But it is all over now. Why not look at it as it was?
True, it is all over now. It is part of the irrevocable past. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on, nor all your piety and wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. But sitting here with you once more, it seems that we might take up the broken threads where we dropped them so long ago. Of course, that is impossible now, and we would not if we could. But oh, the smell of that jasmine flower! We must go back to the ballroom, but first let us take a turn in the garden. Do not say no. Remember, this is the last time that we will be together. Isn't the moonlight lovely?
Superb. And how black this shadow— Oh, no, do not stop here. No, you must not do that.
Think how many years it has been since we were together, and this is the last time. Lift your face, just once, for the old time's sake.
No, let me go. Let us walk on. Please, you must not.
But I must. Do not be cruel. Give me something to remember through all the coming years. We may never meet again, for the love of what might have once been, just once.
No, dear, I cannot. You know that you ought not to ask me. Come, let us go.
I am not asking because I think I ought. My sense of duty has nothing to do with it. Do not refuse the last request I shall ever make of you, please.
Oh, you must not do this. Think of the others.
Yes, I know. We shall devote our lives to the happiness of the others, but you and I will never again be together like this.
Someone is coming. Quick, let us go.
Yes, someone is coming. Shall we go back to the ballroom?
Yes, no, let us go once around the garden. This path, you must not look that way. You know that I could not.
Yes, I know.
And you must not care. You will not, will you? You know that I do not want to hurt you. You will forget this in a little while.
Yes, I will forget this in a little while. Do you think I can?
Why can't you? Think of all these years when you have not cared enough to come to me. When you are once more with the girl you love, you will never think of this. You will never—
Please, don't. I do not want to think of you as gratuitously cruel.
Do not say such things to me. Let us stop here a moment, and do not look like that. We do not want our last moments together to be like this.
Forgive me, dear. I cannot help it. I would be hilariously joyful for you if I could, but I cannot. To think that, after we have been so dear to each other, after all these years, that I have longed to see you, now that we are together again for the last time. You are not fair, dear. You know that I would not be here now were you only a mere acquaintance. Would I have asked you to walk around the garden once more? You know that we ought to have gone back to the ballroom long ago. Oh, you are right, of course. You are better to me than I deserve. Do not let it trouble you because I am weak enough to be hurt by your denial. It is my own fault. And if the future is to be empty of one delicious memory that I would like to have of you, you can forget this night, for I know that it will not be pleasant for you to remember. But do not quite forget me, Helen. Now we will go back to the ballroom and say goodbye in a strictly conventional way, and then your conscience will be clear. Don't, Ward. You are hurting me. Forgive me, dear. I cannot stay here and be good to you. I am suffering. Forgive me. Oh, you know that I do not want to hurt you, and I do not want to part from you coldly. Let us go this way through the arbor. Remember me always, dear, and for the sake of what has been, just once. You are an angel, Helen. Now for the sake of what might have been. And a long, long farewell. Goodbye, dear. Goodbye. Goodbye, and God bless you. Don't quite forget me. I will take you in and go at once. How the lights glare in this room.
That's our show for today. Thanks again for listening. This podcast is part of Offbeat Oregon History, a public history resource for the state we love. More information is at our hub page, offbeatoregon.com. Offbeat Oregon is a division of Pulplit Productions, a boutique publishing house about which more can be learned at pulp-lit.com. This podcast is covered under a Creative Commons license. For details, see offbeatoregon.com/cc. Our theme music is by the Atlas String Band and was written by Carmen Ficarra. Listen and download more at atlasstringband.com. Questions, critiques, ideas for a future episode? Email me at fj@offbeatoregon.com. Episodes of Offbeat Oregon History are uploaded around 6 a.m. every weekday, so the next one will be on your device and ready to go before you know it. Until then, go out and fill up the rest of your Tuesday with good stuff. Bye now.